Greetings, everyone. I'd like to reflect on week 8 and welcome you to week 9. Can you believe we've already passed the midpoint of the semester? How could this be? Your conversation about postpartum depression was so fascinating to me. The themes that stuck out were how responsive you were to each other's experience, and how open you were about sharing your own experience. You can see how that way of communicating about postpartum depression is essential for the community education that Maris was and others were talking about. That free conversation is so important, and as you all pointed out, isolation is a big factor in depression in general, and postpartum depression in particular, and it becomes like a vicious cycle because you feel depressed and then you don't feel worthwhile, and then you don't reach out to people, and then that makes you feel more depressed, and the cycle continues like that. You also pointed out the contrast between our expectations of how wonderful it's going to be when we become parents, and then how cognitively dissonant it is when people feel depressed and overwhelmed. Actually, there's quite a bit of stress research that substantiates that idea, that we feel psychological distress in direct proportion to the difference between our expectation and reality. And that also relates to the point about the unrealistic, what do they call it? Those fixed up, airbrushed images of skinny women that make real women feel bad about themselves in general, and worse about themselves when they're, quote, fat, when they're pregnant or just after giving birth. This issue of social support and reaching out is so important, and I love those stories of family members who made themselves present even when the mother wasn't able to reach out, and weren't judging the mother for her behavior, but just knowing that she needed support. And that's, what a wonderful thing that is. The issue of medication is interesting because it has, I don't think it's as simple as being for or against medication. Medication has saved many people's lives and saved the quality of many people's lives. But what's critical is it be appropriately recommended by someone who's well trained. One thing that's problematic is that often general practitioners or obstetricians are who are not as well trained as psychiatrists are recommending or prescribing certain medications, and that's not always the best thing, and that particularly affects us here in rural areas, right? If you want to think about these issues further, there is a wonderful pediatrician named Dr. T. Barry Brazelton, and he was for a long time a professor of pediatrics at Harvard, and he is sort of the grandfather of our current understanding of how incredibly capable newborns are, and how elaborate the communications can be between newborns and their parents. And he also made the quip, it's a good thing that women are pregnant for 9 months, because it takes us 9 months to actually adjust to the fact that our whole world is going to completely change. I don't know if I've got it right, but I'm hoping that what's in the background of this little video is a picture of me and my daughter Heather. And I have to tell you that after 24 years, this one spot right on the top of her head smells exactly the way it smelled the day she was born. So, with that, I welcome you to week 9 and our conversation about later infancy with Jasmine, Suzanne, and Misty. And with regard to your papers, your batch comes first. Forget those other 2 classes. Your batch takes priority this time, so look forward to my responses soon.